Liebe Grandios-Freunde, ich freue mich, dass ihr wieder mit dabei seid. Mein Name ist Tobias Leminski und ich bin heute wieder in Berlin. Wie ihr seht, in einem großen Kinosaal. Ich habe niemand Geringeren da als Elizabeth Tabish, Maria Magdalena vom The Chosen. Ich freue mich sehr, dass wir Elizabeth, or Liz, how you like it? Is it Liz or Elizabeth?
Either or, I go by Liz or Elizabeth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sie spielt die Maria Magdalena und unser Thema heute ist Sehnsucht. Und Sehnsucht ist auch ein großes Thema bei The Chosen. Und deswegen freue ich mich sehr, dass wir heute hier die Gelegenheit haben, mit Maria Magdalena, mit Liz Tabish sprechen zu dürfen. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Elizabeth, Liz, was it always a dream for you to be actress?
Yeah, for as long as I can remember, I loved acting. I was really shy as a child and didn't really express myself very much. And then I think one day with the preschool play, I was like belting out songs and dancing, and like my family did not recognize me. They're like, that can't be our Lizzie. And yeah, I mean, I think acting has always been this outlet for me to express myself. Being shy, it's the safe place to play with lots of different characters and scenarios and emotions. And so since I can remember, I have loved acting. I never expected to actually do it as a living, though. I thought it was kind of an impractical career choice, and I look back and I realize there are a lot of very specific, almost accidents for how I got into this industry, which is kind of wild.
Was it also a sense of longing to be an actress?
I think so. I think there was desire there for sure. I think the idea of being able to live so many different lives and be so many different people. I was raised in a small town in Oklahoma, and there wasn't much to do, so my imagination really like worked overtime, I think. Thank you. And I think there was some desire to experience more in life that acting afforded me. So I would audition for the community theater or school plays, and it always had this special element to it that really brought me a sense of, I guess, identity and purpose. But again, was not expecting to actually go into it. It was a dream for sure, but I did not think that it was something that would come true.
Normally, if you think about acting and then you think about glitz, glamour and film stars, but behind this glamour world, there's work.
Oh.
It's hard work. It's also reaction from the people, how you act.
Yeah.
And then a lot of time you need robust self-confidence, I think. How you feel, how you can deal with it, that people now react from your action?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was mostly a commercial actress, and I wanted to do roles like like Mary, but it was just sort of, I don't know, my experience as an actress was just so much rejection. We are rejected more than not, and you would think that it would build up a sort of thick skin and you get tough about it, but of course in an audition you have to go in and like be vulnerable and bare your heart and soul. And so it's this very fine line between like being tough enough to handle criticism or rejection, and then also sensitive and vulnerable enough to do the job. And I find myself now in a very different type of situation where, you know, I am able to do what I love, and I am still sort of, I have to be vulnerable for this character. And then there's, you know, people's reactions to it, audience reaction, people commenting. For the most part, it has been wonderful and supportive, and people connect to Mary. But I've never been thrust into the spotlight in this way before, and there can be a lot of pressure, there can be a lot of harshness even of people wanting you to be what they want you to be. And when people find out you're not Mary Magdalene, you're an actress playing, you know, I think sometimes it can be overwhelming of where the boundary lies between me and my character. And I do think I'm constantly working on being tougher about it, of having a thicker skin about it. If people are upset about me wearing a certain dress or something, of just not taking it personally. And, you know, it's not just a show, it's a show about Jesus and the disciples, and people have such strong emotions about it, such strong opinions. So it's all very new to me to be managing expectations, and then still go to set and, you know, bare my soul and heart. Yeah. It's a complicated dynamic, I think.
You wanted to give up acting,
Yeah.
and then comes the role of Mary Magdalena.
Yeah.
How it became to this opportunity?
I was rejected one too many times on a commercial job. I just couldn't take it anymore. I think I reached my limit of, like, all the signs were pointing to, you need to change your career, because if you're not booking, if you can't pay your rent, then maybe time to give up the dream. And so I told my agent to stop submitting me. And I was also tired of the types of roles that I was reading for, or the types of roles that were written for women, that were one-dimensional or objectifying, or just honestly, like, not realistic. Having to look perfect, having to act perfect, or, you know, being someone's girlfriend and they don't even help with the plot line. And I wanted something real and, you know, with rich emotional depth. And I was disappointed in not seeing that in the opportunities I was having. And so, yeah, I thought it's time to quit. And my agent submitted me to this anyway. And it's just funny to look back on, like, how close I was to maybe not even, you know, booking this or getting this opportunity. And when I read the script for the audition, I was so deeply moved and so deeply connected to the Lilith portion of the character, of this point of despair and mistakes and you know, pain, a broken heart. And it felt like it was written for me, and it was the first time that has ever happened, where you feel like this feels written for me. And so it was, yeah, it's been so special to be able to, to be able to play my dream character, you know, my dream role.
So you're deep inside this role, so you can perhaps also describe us a little bit of the thinking of Maria Magdalena. What changes the most when she meets Jesus?
Everything. I think we meet her in season 1, episode 1, and she's suicidal. She doesn't know how to get out of this sort of cycle of trauma and pain and alcoholism, and you know, she's tormented. And when she meets Jesus, he says something to her that reaches past all the boundaries that she has set up, all the blocks she has set up to protect herself. It reaches past her trauma, it reaches past her pain, and speaks to her heart. And you know, he says, "You are mine." And she's transformed, you know, she's completely a new person the next time we see her. She's healed. And I think it's feeling seen. She feels seen by Jesus, and deeply loved, and she's able to start a new chapter and live a really joyful life after him healing her.
It's a role full of longing, deepest longing. Is this longing fulfilled? With the meaning
I think when we first meet her, there is this longing for help, for someone to save her. Because she can't do it by herself, you know? She's trying, and she's trying to figure out how to get out of this place of such despair. And yes, I think it's reached, it's fulfilled when she meets Jesus. The longing for help, he helps her, he saves her. And then, of course, I think the rest of Mary's story, as she follows him and is there at the crucifixion, and is the first that sees him when he is resurrected. I think her longing to witness, you know, who he is in this world and in the universe, the Savior. She witnesses it.
All this touches you. We can see it. So my next question is, I think, have you known such a feeling of longing yourself?
I think so. I think anyone that's in a place of despair has longing for a better life, a more joyful life, a meaningful life. I think sometimes we search for the fulfillment of that longing in so many wrong places. You know, I think what we want to experience is life, is the joy of life. And I think we can get confused about where to find it. And I think we need to remember that it's love that we're seeking, that we're longing for, real love. And people will do the funniest things to try to find it in the wrong places. And to have it in your life, the real love is transformative, I think.
How much Maria Magdalena is in each person of us?
I think just being human makes us very similar to Mary Magdalene. I think she is, she was lost and is found. I think that's a story that anyone can experience. She's a sinner. She is tormented. She is in pain, and I think that is something that everyone can experience. It does experience. We are, just by virtue of being in this world, we're going to experience pain, and I think she is seeking the peace that comes with finding Jesus, and I think that's something that everyone can experience.
If you could have met her in real life, what would you have asked her in preparation of your role?
Oh, I would want to know what she was experiencing. You know, in the Gospels, we only hear a little bit about her, and I'm so curious what her perspective was of what was going on in the sort of cultural and political realm of you know, after Jesus, of all the disciples going out and spreading the message. How scary that must have been as a woman to do that. And, you know, surely Jesus must have said other things to her or to the women, and I'm so curious what that would have been. I think there's so much speculation about who she was to Jesus that it would be nice to, like, clarify that of their friendship, of what that would have been like in the day-to-day sort of, you know, realm of things.
You played, Maria Magdalena has a life after meeting Jesus and before, full of desert.
Mm-hmm.
is it for you to play this change?
Yeah, it was, when I booked it, I was coming out of depression, and I was very connected to the Lilith portion of her, and it was very easy to play some of those scenes of despair and hopelessness and sorrow, and then being able to shift gears completely was also surprisingly easy, because there was this sense that even in booking the role, it like opened up my heart a little bit of realizing that all of the pain that I had gone through was being used for something so beautiful. God was with me the whole time and was able to use it to tell this story, to help tell this story. And so it was this reminder that really beautiful things can happen in this world. And so it was easy to shift into the joyful, redeemed Mary, because I was feeling that same sort of joy in my own life.
Yeah, I can see the fulfilling.
More. Thank you.
Yeah, we can see the longing in your face, even if you talk about it now. What is the significance of playing this role for you?
It's been life-changing for me. It's so personal and it's so specific that I feel like I have gone through certain things in order to play this character, and now that I'm in the midst of playing it, I feel this sense of a responsibility to honor her and to honor this person of history, and it has given me so much. You know, it has brought me so much joy and purpose in my life. That, yeah, I mean, it is my life now. You know, it is, in many ways, it is the central focus of my life, which I think is also, has its own challenges, you know, of who is Liz Tabish outside of Mary Magdalene, and it's good to have people around you that remind you of like who you always have been, you know, I'm still Liz, and still really goofy and dorky, and you know, I get to do what I love now, and that's such a privilege.
Many people report that The Chosen changes their life, and I expect it changes also your life. We can see, has it changed your faith?
It's, I was really, really cynical and skeptical about religion for a long time, and I didn't have the best experiences with Christian people. I always felt there was a lot of judgment and sort of hypocrisy and sort of this cliquey, you know, attitude that excludes people. And I have been able to, because of this show, because of the stories that we're telling, I'm reminded of what Jesus was actually teaching. And it's so much inclusion, and it's so much love, and it's no judgment. You know, it's the opposite of all of those things. And I don't know how Christianity got to this point where it's not representing what Christianity actually is. And I feel like this show is able to really represent the power, the love, the forgiveness and compassion that Jesus has taught us to live, and that has changed my perception, and has reminded me of the faith that I always wanted, and I feel like I'm able to have that now, have that for myself, of being reminded of God's love and forgiveness.
I ask for a friend. Can looking at Maria Magdalena helps people to find the essence of Christian faith?
Sorry. Absolutely. I think here's this woman who was possessed by 7 demons and was healed by Jesus. They were exorcised from her. She was, you know, we have heard so many things about her. In The Chosen too, she's living in the Red Quarter. There's addiction in her life. I think she's in such a dark place that I think we can see ourselves, if she can be healed, if she can be transformed, then anyone can be, you know? I think that that she's this sort of character that can be used as this vehicle to recognize that, like, anyone can be transformed and changed if their heart is changed.
You started in the interview, you said, okay, this is one of the most beautiful written person you can play. Is it the role of your life, I think? What can be after The Chosen?
I've thought about that. I have no idea how any sort of role is going to follow this. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what's in store after The Chosen. There are so many beautiful characters in history that I would love to see portrayed on screen. That, you know, but I don't know. I've been so disappointed, I think, in Hollywood and in the types of female characters that have been written. And, you know, as long as there are characters with emotional depth and something to say and something that's uplifting, I think that you know, possibly I will be able to continue to share these types of stories with people. And but I genuinely can't fathom another character, you know, following this. She's such a dream role for me. But, you know, there are more stories to tell as well.
But do you think there's more than only playing Maria Magdalena? People can see in you an example, finding her faith, the love, you talked about it. Are you thinking about this when you play Maria Magdalena?
Am I thinking about other people's perception of? I mean, like when I'm on set and I'm not thinking about anything except for the scene. No, I mean, I try to just stay in the world of the Chosen when I'm acting, and look at the other actors as their characters, and you know, I think anyone can play any character, you know, but for it to really be resonating with people, I think there has to be some inner truth that is relating to it. And I've never related so much to a character before. Her transformation, I've never felt that in any other character. So, you know, we'll see.
Last question. What do you think, what do you take away with you from Maria Magdalena?
I think this constant reminder that we are all human and we make mistakes, and that we can't do it on our own, and that we are still so deeply loved by God, that all the anxieties that we have, all the fears, all the worries and shame, and can just be really washed away. And anytime I get anxious, or anytime I get sort of overwhelmed by things, I am so lucky that I get to just remember a scene that I got to play with Jonathan, who plays Jesus, and in that scene, I say, I can't live up to this. I'm not good enough for this. I don't deserve this type of love. And all Jesus says is God just wants your heart. And it's so simple and it's so sweet. And that we just have to really do our best day by day. And we are human, so we will make mistakes. But we have to keep striving to be kinder to others, kinder to ourselves, and really seek the sort of joy that God can provide us.
What is the deepest longing you have?
For so many things, I think for joy in life and for peace and for others to find peace. I think it's that. I think it's peace.
Liz, thank you very much for your deep answers, for being here for us and give us so deeply in touch with Maria Magdalena. Thank you very much.
Thank
It was very, very nice. Thank you very much that you are here with us.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Liebe Grandios-Freunde, vielen Dank, dass ihr mit dabei seid. Ihr habt es gesehen, das war ein sehr bewegendes Interview, wie ich finde. Wenn ihr mehr über Grandios sehen wollt oder hören oder lesen wollt, schaut mal bei uns vorbei im Grandios YouTube-Kanal. Dort werdet ihr auch ein Interview finden mit ihrem Kollegen Jonathan, der den kleinen Jakobus spielt, und noch viele andere Interviews mehr zum Thema Sehnsucht. Wer nichts mehr verpassen möchte, dem empfehlen wir natürlich das Grandios Plus Abo. Das ganze Heft kommt dann immer jeweils nach Hause und alle anderen Inhalte sind online jederzeit einsehbar. Thank you very much, Liz, for being here with us. Bis bald. Tschüss, ciao.